Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Music technology is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and maniacs run free and good people die like dogs. There's also a negative side. Today we are going to talk about Polyend Play Plus, and given the strange events surrounding its release, it might come as a surprise that it was only the second biggest gear controversy of winter 2023. At the first glance, it might seem suspicious that this Play Plus was sent over by Polyend as a long-term loan, but rest assured it will be roasted like any other piece of gear. An enclosure mostly identical to the original Play houses an upgraded chip in charge of managing a stereo take on the 8-track sampler sequencer combo, plus 3 synth slots, capable of loading one of 4 engines. We will have a closer look at in a minute. Before we take a deep dive into the Groovebox itself, we will have to deal with the aforementioned controversy, which might have a negative impact on your cardiac health, especially if you own an original Play. Brought to the market in spring 2022, the first version received critical acclaim and promised some of the quirky goodness of the tracker without the need to learn its arcane 80s DAW dialect while adding much requested hands-on controls. It did come with a few limitations like mono sample playback and lack of real sound synthesis, presumably due to ongoing supply chain issues on the chip market. Only around 1.5 years later, Polyend released the machine they seemingly had wanted to release in the first place, ironing out these drawbacks and adding features like multi-track USB audio. This is not a firmware update, but requires early adopters to send their beloved Play to Poland at their own cost and hand over $399 or see the resale value taking a hit due to the reduced price of the non-Plus, pushing total cost for an upgraded model over $1,000. Ben Jordan publicly stated that he was okay with this, which resulted in a backlash that made him announce the end of his career as a gear reviewer. Heightened blood pressure levels aside, this video is still about a Groovebox. The Play Plus workflow is mostly based on samples loaded from a micro SD card into a minuscule RAM capable of holding around 3 minutes of stereo samples. But hey, it's all about creative sequencing anyway. You can assign different samples
and tonal attributes
to each step, including a non-real-time resonant DJ-style filter, there's a primitive AD envelope, overdrive and bit crush, reverb, delay, and staples like volume, panning, pitch, and sample start end. I didn't find a way to set loop points within a sample though. Maximum pattern length of the 8 tracks is 64 steps, so Polyend included plenty of sequencer gimmicks to work around this limitation. There's microtiming, versatile ratchets. Chance goes beyond simple probability. Randomize can be assigned to basics like sample selection and octave, but also let you call in the Duke. Pattern length can easily be adjusted for each track independently, which turns Play into a polymeter powerhouse, especially when exploring the unorthodox Play modes, where it makes sense. These features are mirrored to the 8 monophonic Midi tracks with a chord functionality. They can be used to trigger external hardware and software instruments or the internal synthesizers. Speaking of which, maximum total polyphony of all synths in a Play Plus session is 8, and they come in the flavors Acid, 2 VA poly varieties, and 2OP FM. There is no labeling for the synth parameters on the front panel, physical controls are limited to macros, and you will have to go on a Roland-worthy menu dive if you want to program your own sounds. Bummer. As we are talking of controls, the knobs are smooth, but I messed up a few jams because of the double tap switch mechanics and prefer the stepped main encoder for more precise edits. In addition to the aforementioned effects, there are master sound destruction facilities quite similar to the ones I didn't like on the tracker. Plays are built to, well, being played, yet I was struggling to make real-time recording of notes work. And performance mode, which is awesome by itself, didn't really help me with my style of jamming. I do appreciate the pattern, mute solo and variation concept, but it might take a while to get used to the built-in keyboard and piano roll. The stem export feature is super useful. Build quality is great, I like the overall design, but the minimalist connectivity is probably not to everyone's taste. The Play Plus release certainly angered substantial numbers of die-hard Polyend fans. Is the final product worth all the drama? You have already heard the new synths in today's intro tune. Definitely gets the job done, but I didn't find any Daddy Rock drum machine samples in the factory library. Now I wanna play. Nice! After an initial phase of confusion, the workflow gets self-explanatory quickly, and a few quirks and occasional bugs aside, making music on Play is a pleasurable experience. The synths are refreshingly dirty. Switching between sample and MIDI mode isn't always practical in the heat of a live performance. Let's create a real-life DAW-less setup to work around that. That's a mixed bag. Although I was missing some classics, the factory samples are abundant and top-notch, but polyphonic MIDI recording is something you have to get used to. Time to combine them with a few jams of the stock library and add some DAW sheen in Children of the Night. What music they make if they try to squeeze lo-fi downbeat, Berlin school and pseudo-orchestral shenanigans into one bad gear finale. Let's get this out of the way first. Yes, I would have been disappointed as an early adopter of the original Play. Having to choose between either shedding out a significant amount of money or accepting diminished resale value is hard to swallow. However, when we take all this out of the equation, Play Plus is a powerful and innovative groovebox. It's not as quirky as its tracker siblings, but keep in mind that it comes with many idiosyncrasies that are certainly not everyone's cup of tea. All this being said, said, I would be more than willing to pay a few $100 to have stereo sampling and a handful of synths on my Digitakt. Hopefully I don't have to end my synth reviewing career because of saying this. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.